Ladies and gentlemen, what follows is some gameplay footage from Gamescom that Giant Software have kindly sent out to us. If you were at Gamescom and you made an appointment to go to the booth to see them, you got access to look at, play around with the game, Highlands Fishing Expansion Edition. And obviously, you know, for a lot of people, you can't attend Gamescom, you can't get there, that kind of thing. So Giant said, you know what, here's the footage. So we got actual gameplay footage, and I've nipped out a couple of bits here and there, but there's some really cool stuff in here to have a look at. Stuff that we've seen some images of right at the very end of this. And I wouldn't blame you at all if you want to skip to the end. The individual solo fishing using a fishing rod is at the end. And I have to say, whilst you can't see the control options, what options you've got for what you're doing, and I could get it wrong on what I'm saying, it does look very, very cool indeed. Let's jump in and have a look. My feelings, my reaction to the gameplay footage. So we are starting off with some footage that we have seen before, to be fair. So this is the Holland onion harvesting equipment, and this is an interesting one because we are harvesting, which leaves them on the ground, and then there's a collector that comes along and collects them. So this, we have seen some images and a bit of footage of this before, but this is the Holland harvester section. Front section topping, partially collecting, second section bringing them up out of the ground, and this I think you can adjust so you can windrow it as well, so you can put it left or right, or at the moment it's set to the rear, which is pretty cool. We'll have a look at, you know, whatever is available, whatever they've given us to have a look at. And just to reiterate, this is not me playing it hands-free. This is footage that was sent to us. I'm watching the footage, I'm not playing. So when people start commenting saying, why didn't you show this, why didn't you show that, or can you show this next time, this is just what was sent to us. So if you were at Gamescom and you got access to this, you got to have a look at it, you got to see what it was. Like I said, it's a preview, it's work in progress, but at least you can see some of the gameplay happening. And Giants will be very careful about what they show. So even at Gamescom, if you made an appointment to go, you won't get to see everything. So this is the Grimmer Veritron 470, and this is the Onion Collector. We saw an image of this, I think, when they showed the Gamescom trailer, and from the Gamescom trailer that was just, you know, there, look at this is cool, we want you to buy it. I took some screenshots out of it because this was a new bit of equipment we hadn't really seen yet. So this is what then comes along and collects the onion. So we do have a new crop type with the Highlands Fishing Expansion Edition, along with fishing and some equipment and boats, and you know, it's looking very, very good. I guess it's kind of doing what you'd expect it to do, really. Fairly tight turning circle. I don't know who it is that actually records this. We did get sent out some footage from the Mercedes-Benz pack as well. But I'm not going to lie, I wasn't as raving. It shows some of the Unimogs and stuff, but whoever did the recording of that, you don't actually see as much of the equipment as I would have liked. I don't know whether I'd do a video on it or not. I might just put the video up. So there you go, that was the harvester. Now we're into the Skoda Kodiaq. So there is a machine, there is a Holland bagging machine. You take your onions off the field and it bags up. So what this is, this little clip, and like I say, I've watched this through once, so this is my second time of watching it through. This bit with the Skoda goes on quite a bit, and whoever's doing it obviously stops at all the lights, which is, you know, it's great. I love the detail. It's more about looking at the map itself with this clip. It's looking at the assets, it's looking at Kinlaig, which is the name of the place. It looks brilliant. There are some cracking vehicles on the map as well. The work in progress thing the other day, it looked like a Robin, not a Robin Reliant, a Robin, what did I say it was? It looks like there might be a little there's a little two-seat sports car, Scimitar, a little Scimitar sports car. There's definitely a Mini. They've done some really cool stuff. There is a bit we get to later on. I think we need Land Rover. We definitely need Land Rover. But this looks incredible. The detail of the cobbled streets and the paving and the stonework and the moss on the roofs. The sign postage. I think they've adjusted the buses as well, because the initial videos had it with a red bus, which, you know, people said straight away that's a London bus. I think they've been changed. Like I say, this bit does go on for a little while, but I was not necessarily looking at the vehicle. I'm looking at everything else. I think this just takes the onions off to sell them. There we go. So whether this is a sell point or an onionry, I assume it's just a sell point. I don't think an onionry is an actual thing, is it? There you go. Next, the JCB Fast Track Icon 8330. Now again, there's been a, I don't know, it's a difficult one, isn't it? JCB are back, and people saying, yeah, but we had them before, and I think Giants are making a big thing about JCB are back in with the Highlands expansion. We got a couple of JCB bits. There's the low door telehandler, but this is kind of the relaunch, official relaunch. But it's nice to see them. Sound effects are pretty good. It does look nice as well. And I think later on in the video, is it the 4220? It doesn't actually come up because it cuts to already in the vehicle. Might be the 42, but it's the smaller JCB. That's on there as well. Unless I cut, I hope I didn't cut that bit out. I like it. What I will say, and I'm still, jury's still out for me, what they haven't shown, they showed the gameplay, or the Gamescom trailer, and there was loads of the steam train, which is absolutely awesome. But when we had the initial stuff of that, the sound effect was awful, and I did mention that on the video at the time. What's interesting is this, I was really hoping, because it's gameplay footage and the train's a big thing and you can get on the train, you can drive the train, I was really hoping to get some train footage to see whether they've made it sound like a steam train now. But we haven't got any. There's no footage in here of that. So I have no idea what it's going to sound like. So there were a couple of the clips. Oh, before I say that. So the cargo vessel, this is cool. The detail in the cabin is amazing. What I'm liking, you've got the throttle up and the throttle back, and it's got all the detail on there on your throttle. I think it's a bit later on. To the left, there's, I guess, what would be the yaw control. A lot of vessels, I guess, things like this. I know lifeboats tend to have it as well. It's like vector thrust, so it has almost like jets, like a jet ski, that allow that lateral movement. And it looks like it's got, whilst it looks like a rudder control side to side, you'll see later on, it looks like it adjusts the whole movement of the boat, which I think is brilliant. And that effect, the bow wave, the rear of that, it's very cool. And out to the fishery, again, the clips we saw when it all got first released, and we got some information then. As far as we can tell, those fisheries are in different sizes, and you bring your smaller fish from where you've already produced them. There's a couple of crates on here. And then you bring feed, and then this is what grows them larger, your salmon and your trout, and you can place these, as far as I'm aware, anywhere on the loch, waterway, ocean, whatever it's being referred to as. So you can see now, you look at the way the waves are coming off the back, because you're kind of sort of going sideways. It looks like it's got sort of some lateral thrust to this. I did cut a chunk of this out as well, because whilst it's using the crane, and the crane is very, very cool, it went on for about 5 minutes of just the crane unloading each one at a time. But I do like this, and I said this when I showed the earlier clips, is the straps, the way the straps are on the crates when you unload them. Now, I don't know whether you can do the crane from inside the cabin. I'm assuming you have to do it on that footplate. Yeah, and the way the straps, the movement of the straps as well. Again, this is just me being really picky, but a personal feeling is, I know it's like it across the game generally. I think you should have to put it down, or at least release the straps for it to take the pallet, because I'd prefer, with that strap animation, the way that works, for you to place it on the ground, then release the straps, but as soon as you sort of hover over, it just takes it. I mean, I'm assuming they haven't released the straps. What I've also noticed on this footage we've been sent is that bottom right, it gives us no information. With those pallets that are hooked up, it doesn't tell us what they are, what's in it. Normally bottom right, it would show you and tell you what's in each pallet, how much, the quantity, that kind of stuff. None of that is showing, so I'm assuming that whatever version they're using for doing the recording of this, it hasn't got it. And obviously top left, they haven't got the help menu out, so you can't see what the controls are that are being used to make this operate. I genuinely cannot wait to get my hands on playing this. Unfortunately for me, being on console, it's not going to be. I'll have to wait, like everybody else, for the release. But in that, I can't wait. It's going to be brilliant. So as I said, I did skip ahead a little bit because it went through pallet after pallet doing each one. So you reverse on the thrust there, then look to the left. I think it turns it to the left in a second. Yeah, look, watch. Is that moving? Just that movement left and right. It could just be rudder, but I'm just looking at the way the boat itself is moving. That doesn't appear to just be rudder. I mean, like I say, I could be wrong because I can't. There's nothing showing what actually is being manipulated there. And we have basically got a landing craft and an assault craft. So I need Land Rovers and stuff. The other thing as well is I don't know. I'm assuming you can, but this will be something that will be that crazy period when everyone gets hold of it and everyone will be testing everything to the limits. Whether you can drive this drive this up to the beach. Can you drive up to the beach and lower the ramp down at a beachside and can you load vehicles onto it? And there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to drive vehicles on. I don't know. So a quick look round at the netted fishery. That's weird. I wonder why it would make you do that. In fact, surely there should be a walkway, shouldn't there? Anyway. Open water nettage. Next. So this is that lime spreader, the new lime spreader. We've got a few different manufacturers new for Highlands Fishing. I like the fact it's got those kind of almost like paddle sides which stops the powder going forwards. It's only going down behind where it is. And this is the smaller JCB, isn't it? It's not. I'm sure it's not the 8330. And we've seen liming done before. Again, this is, it was sent out, and I suppose I could have edited this out, but it's a new bit of equipment. I keep saying this in every video I do at the moment. Apologies if you can hear music or drilling or banging in the background. My neighbours are having an extension built. Very nice in the cab. There was a section as well I took out, which was a class tractor with a class round baler. Now they could be new vehicles, could be new equipment for the Highlands Fishing expansion. I wasn't sure, so I took them out because it was basically it was a few minutes of, or a minute or so, whatever it was, of a baler doing a round bale. I made the call, I took it out, but this I do like. Having bunning in is very, very cool. Muck spreaders, that type of equipment. But we've got the old New Holland, and this sounds great, so I'll stop talking. Oh, it's nice. So this was the bit I was thinking about earlier when I said about Land Rovers. Much as all the cool new stuff they've put on the map, we need something like that. The Lizard Santanas, or a version of, or Giants need to do a deal with whoever they need to do a deal with. That would be very cool. But this is, and again, we've seen these fisheries before, but I like the fact you get the sound effects. This is where I'll stop talking again. So that's the young fish breeding. This is how you start out. And then it's back to the pickup. Oh yes, I've just remembered. Yeah, I'm starting thinking. I'm thinking to the next bit, thinking, oh yeah, what comes next is, but no. Again, it's semantics really, but they talked about a new animal type. It's a new breed, not a new animal type, if you're going to be picky about it. But the Highland cows. We're going to take some water out, and in the field there we've got some Highland coos. I'm not sure if the horns are long enough on them. I know when I watch Tom Pemberton, they've got Highlands, and the horns are, I mean, maybe they're younglings, but there you go. There's your Highland cows. Bit of a glimpse. I forgot how much there was left of this. I forgot all these bits here. What's this? Monosem? I think was one of the new manufacturers. I'm assuming it's the whole planting rig, not just the tank on the front. So this is, again, it's part of the footage and it's new, so I thought I'd put it in with the pipe going from the front tank to the rear tank. Again, not new. We've had that on planters and stuff before. But I thought I'd put it in. And also, it's the shot of the harbour behind, which I like. With the castle to the right, harbour wall. I think the map's an absolute cracker. It really is. I know by the time it comes out, people are going to be fed up with hearing about it. They're going to be fed up with seeing it. We're getting cracking maps all the time on the Mod Hub. But obviously this is Giants releasing their stuff, so it's that thing of, we're getting a new base game map. And people would argue there are much better modded maps, and I would probably agree with you. I'm excited because it's the first time we've had a base game map in the game which is UK based. That's pretty cool. We've had a few from all over the place, different locations, but this is pretty cool. So we now move on to the final clip, the bit you might have been waiting for. It's quite cool because we start on the Can-Am, which is new to game, the Outlander Pro. And we're heading along the shoreline. Now, I don't know, and this is it, this last bit is going to be probably, it's very cool because it's showing us more than we knew before. We had a glimpse on the Gamescom trailer, but we didn't know anything more. This shows us some more. What does it actually mean? Now, the fact that there's a little boat here with the, now I don't know if you can fish anywhere or just at set locations, but watch. Extend the rod. You cast, that's your power bar, and then it says wait, that starts to move, and then watch what happens. And then you get a fish hooked. Then that little bar comes up. Now that's showing mouse controls, and again there's no other controls on the screen, but it gives the impression that you're, I assume, pulling back on the stick. There'll be some pressure. I don't know if you can lose the fish off the hook, and every time it's pulling and then reeling in, I don't know what those controls would be. It seems like it's getting higher and higher and higher up until you hopefully catch the fish, like so. And then you have the choice, a massive trout, what do you want to do with it? Sell it or release it. So you can release the fish back into the wild if you want to. That is absolutely fantastic. I know that clip ends far too quickly. It needs to be a little bit more on the end of there. But there you go. That's all the footage you were sent. I think that last fishing rod bit, like I say, without an understanding of the controls and how that works, but there gives the impression of tension. Can you lose a fish off there? Are there different size fish? I don't know. It doesn't show, but that is a very, very cool thing. The fact you extend the rod, I'm assuming it's going to be like torches, chainsaws, that kind of stuff. When you've bought one, it's in your inventory, because it didn't look like there was anywhere it was picked up from. It just kind of came out of the inventory. But as we always do at the end of these videos, I hope you found all this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then of course, please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, as always, thanks for watching.